Therefore, human beings must clearly understand their true responsibilities and act accordingly. They must proceed towards perfection by making proper use of their mental endowments and resources. They cannot sit back smugly after realizing through rationality where deathlessness can be attained. In order to be established in it, they will have to follow the path of integration and suffering instead of the path of analysis, and absorb themselves in the sadhana of the internal instead of the external. It is not sufficient to merely read or to write about deathlessness. It has to be understood in the heart and by the heart. As long as the call of the great doesn't reach the innermost recesses of the heart, sadhana remains as dead as the worship of the crude. In order to convey the call of the great to one's heart, one's every physical and mental expression has to be directed slowly and gradually with all of one's sweetness and devotion to one's inner being. According to the extent of this introversion, people will realize more and more deeply the vastness of their goal as compared to transitory nature of physical entities. They will not then seek in vain the eternal entity, Dharva, in the transitory physical world. Then the transitory entity, Sadruva, will keep on gradually merging in one vast eternal entity, Dhruvatva, and in this process a deep and sincere yearning for the supreme eternal being will awaken in them. This phenomenal world is transient, adruva, and unstable. Every worldly manifestation passes through ceaseless change, for all are the centripetal playful expressions of the inscrutable cosmic mind. Nothing is eternally stable. A boy of today will be a youth of tomorrow, and the same youth will be an old man some time later. None of the boy's forms and features are dhruva or permanent. Every object of this world is undergoing change at every moment, for the change is the characteristic of the universe. Is the earth we see today the same as it was when it separated itself from the sun? The contemporary world has achieved its present form by passing through different forms in different eras, such as the Archaeozoic, Proterozoic, Tertiary, Cretaceous, Cretaceous, Pliocene, etc. Each of these forms came into being, remained for a while, and then disappeared. The very name of the world, Jagat, indicates its transitory nature. Gam plus kvip equal Jagat, that which is moving. Whatever changes is unstable, adruva. All adruvas are extroversive or outgoing entities. To run after them is to gradually become crude. I told you of Yashtesha Purnima, that these continuous transformations of unstable entities are always positive. The phase of contraction is called Darya, that which is held or retained, and the phase of manifestation is Karya. Take, for instance, an unstable or transient thing, such as your son. He is constantly progressing through changes, and so you are. Neither of you two entities will remain forever. If you regard him as the only support in your life, it will certainly not be wise, for your son may leave the world any day, and you will mourn his loss with bitter tears, or you yourself may leave the world, making him an orphan. This applies in the same way to wealth, power, etc. You have no right to enjoy any of them permanently, because all objects are moving along at different speeds, according to respective animate and inanimate characteristics, and their varying degrees of crudity and subtlety. The speed of one is never identical with that of another. A tamarind tree does not grow at even 1,000th the speed of a gourd plant. While progressing in the rhythm of movement, the proximity of one entity to another determines their mutual acquaintance or relationship. For the time being, thus someone refers to an object as my this or my that. The entities appear to enjoy each other as long as they are in each other's proximity. Therefore, due to their differences in their speed, one goes ahead and the other lags behind, and as a result, one can find the other. Out of an unseen realm, they came in contact with each other, and into an unseen realm they again lose each other. Adarshana da Tita punasha darshanam gataha nashautavana tasyatvam vrittaka paridevana. Mahabharata. Things which come out of an unseen world and come in contact with one another will once again become unseen to each other. Nothing belongs to you, nor do you belong to anything. So what is the use of lamenting about anything? Prior to your birth, your affectionate mother belonged to an unseen world. As far as you were concerned, today you have come in contact with her. You have known her as your mother. What a sweet and affectionate relationship of reverence and devotion has developed between you two. Then again someday you may be deprived of this opportunity of moving together. Either you will die or she will. In that event, one will become a being of the unseen world. The cotton shirt you are wearing was merely a potentiality, dormant in the earth. To you it was in an unseen state. Then it appeared as a fluid flowing through the root of a cotton plant. It took the form of a flower, then a fruit, and finally it blossomed, although at that point you would not have recognized it as the previous state of your shirt. Out of that cotton came thread and cloth, and finally it was transformed into a shirt in a tailor's shop. Only then did it come within the orbit of your vision, and now you say, "It is my shirt." Now you are together with it, but someday you will go far away from it. Your proximity to it will increase after a few days. The shirt will be torn, and you will throw it into a dustbin. It will gradually rot and become earth again. So you see, something which you think to be yours emerges from an unseen world, and to that unseen world it returns. The intermediate stage of proximity is the interlude when it becomes visible. Now during this short period, will it be wise to regard anything as mine, or to regard myself as belonging to something else? The unstable Adruva world is only meant for observing and for understanding, not for lasting enjoyment. That is why wise people do not waste their time on unstable things. They worship only the eternal, Dhruva. How do these Adruvas, or transient entities, evolve? The physical world evolved as the result of the influence of the binding principle, Prakriti, over consciousness, and the varying degrees of its influence account for the diversities in the physical world. So efforts must